Good afternoon, CEO of the Family Policy Alliance located in Colorado Springs. We have a very special show that was not planned, but we're glad that you are joining us here today. We hope that you'll stick with us because we are going to talk about what happened in Wisconsin yesterday at the Wisconsin Family Action Office, one of the 40 state family policy councils. We talk a lot about that a lot on this channel and in the show, that Family Policy Alliance, what makes us different and unique and special is that we are a national organization for sure, but the strength comes at the local level and at the state level from leaders like the leader of Wisconsin Family Action that endured yesterday on Mother's Day of all days, a firebombing and vandalism and a break-in and destruction of the inside of their office. And their crime, the reason why they were targeted, because people want to perpetuate the killing of unborn human beings, where Wisconsin Family Action and Family Policy Alliance believe that every human being has dignity, worth, and eternal value from conception through natural death. And as we fight for that equality, we fight for the justice of the children that otherwise would be subjected to abortion. The left, from the president to the vice president, Speaker Pelosi, the attorney general in Wisconsin, on down to the local leaders in Madison, have been antagonized and stirred up the pot, and it's led to a very violent and volatile situation. We have with us the president of the Wisconsin Family Action, Julaine Appling. Julaine, it is a privilege. Thank you for taking time on this extraordinary day and sharing with our audience on Facebook and YouTube and beyond what Wisconsin Family Action is going through. How are you guys getting along?
We're doing well. Yesterday was crazy, Craig. I got the call about 7:45. I was at church. I was working on getting a ladies' brunch ready for Mother's Day, and I got the call from the building people saying, "Hey, you've had a break-in and fire bombs," and so I said I'll get over there as soon as I can. I interacted with the police. I will tell you, it was a crazy Mother's Day, and this is not the Monday I ever envisioned that I would be having in my entire life. As you said, how did the word provoke has been used? The police asked me, and how did you provoke this? Well, we didn't provoke it. All we did was do what we always do, which is say, as you said, all life is inherently valuable. Every child comes into this world stamped with the image of our Creator God. Every life has value, and that's been the message we've been giving for 36 years. It's nothing new. But I think what you're seeing is a very, very desperate left who will stop at nothing to try to intimidate and bully and silence and, cause us to go away. Well, guess what? They picked the wrong group if that's what their intention is.
Well, you are a very selfless organization, as you point out, been doing this for 36 years. I also, and for the folks that are watching this live, I'd encourage you to share this. We are live. We see your comments as they come in, and you'll be able to put in questions that we may have time to get to with Julaine Appling. But we also want people to be aware of this. A lot more people are going to be aware of it tonight. Julaine, you're scheduled to go on the Tucker Carlson show, I believe, on Fox News, one of the most watched television shows in America. It's risen to that level. You have the president of the United States even responding to this. What all is going on, and let our audience know about what you're up to and the calls that you've been fielding.
Well, we've been fielding a lot of calls, and look, this is a crazy thing, Craig. We are the victim in the sense that the crime was perpetrated against us. We have hard evidence. I have an office just on the other side of the wall, and in the office that I'm in right now, that has 2 windows blown out, glasses all over my office. There's damage that has been done. There's portions of the window frames that melted from the heat of the fire. There's plastic wands on our blinds that have melted. The graffiti was very real. When I came in today, the building had already painted over that sign that people are looking at right now. This graffiti is an overt attack, an overt threat against us. So as you can expect, once this happened and we started saying, we got to talk to people, and we shared it with the media. And yesterday I spent basically all day from 10 o'clock in the morning until about 6:30 or so last night here in the office working with elected excuse me, I'm so geared up for elections and legislators, but I was working with members of the media coming into our office for in-person interviews, fielding phone calls. And it started again this morning. I started on the radio at 20 to 8 this morning, and it has been literally nonstop. And it's all over the country. Here we are in Madison, minding our own business, doing what we do, what we've been doing for all these years. And all of a sudden, the president of the United States is making a comment about what happened to our office in Madison, Wisconsin. Well, first of all, this isn't the president that I would choose to get recognition from, first of all, but that's the level that this has reached. And yes, we are doing Tucker Carlson tonight. But Craig, let me say this quickly. I am beyond honored and beyond humbled to be able to talk about this and to represent first and foremost the Lord Jesus Christ, who I make no bones about. He is my Lord and Savior, and he is my first priority, right? But secondly, to speak on behalf of all the family policy councils all across this country, to speak on behalf of you all there at Family Policy Alliance and all the pro-life citizens who don't have this opportunity, and certainly to be a voice for the voiceless unborn children who have no way to speak up and talk against the atrocity of abortion that it has ended in the deaths of millions and millions of children, unborn children in our country. So we're doing just what anyone in our position would do right now. We're attempting to talk responsibly, rationally, and reasonably with media literally all over the country to help them to understand what's happened, not to glory in this. It's not about us. We're just the current victim, if you will. But Craig, seriously, if the left thinks that their bullying and intimidation is going to make us all paralyzed so we don't respond and we don't keep speaking up, they are very much mistaken. I think this emboldens us, don't you?
I do. And you're such a happy warrior, and you're so committed. As I said, when we talk about the voice of the voiceless, the people that have the least in our society, we can debate about that. Is it the foster kids? Is it the women that are incarcerated? No, it's not. It's the child that hasn't been born yet. You're literally going to somebody by definition doesn't have an advocate, and you're taking up their cause, and you're enduring this. And Jelaine, this is what I'm observing is that they're using the same tactics that the governments promoted and that corporate America promoted to prop up segregation and Jim Crow laws and things like that they didn't want to see. Equality for all American citizens. They didn't want to see equality for every human being, and they reacted violently. Martin Luther King got firebombed. He had his offices vandalized. I think the left is completely unaware that they're on the wrong side of history here, that people are fighting for the civil rights of human beings, same person, whether you're born or not born. That's what you do, right? At Wisconsin Family Action. And they're the ones trying to deny that equality, trying to deny that justice to that life. Is that how you see it at Wisconsin Family Action?
Absolutely. We see it that way. Violence in any form is always wrong. It's not the answer to this issue or any other issue. And Craig, you know this. There's any number of issues they could have come after us on. It's the nature of who we are and what we do. Right now, life is the issue, and there isn't any issue that's more important than life. I think one of their problems is as they don't understand and can't define woman, they struggle with understanding what life is, when life begins. They deny the science that life begins at the moment of conception, that at that very moment, all the components that make us uniquely human are there. There's that unique strand of DNA that's separate from the father, separate from the mother. And it's unique human being with the image of God stamped on it, with all, not potential life, but life with potential. They struggle to admit that. They don't even know for sure where they agree that life actually begins and when a person is truly a person. And so rather than accept the science and deal with the science and believe in it, they're trying to redefine all this. And so they get themselves tied in knots. And then they get angry. They get very angry when we step on what they see as their air hose, right? And the Roe v. Wade, this whole issue, especially with this leaked opinion last week, started stepping on their air hose, and they are very much afraid that it's going to be completely cut off. And so their anger is boiling over into this kind of overt action.
Well, I'll tell you what, my question for them is, when is a human being not worthy of equal protection in our country? I'd love to pin them down and have them define that. I don't think they will, but I want to recount for our audience that's watching right now. I see a lot of people tuning in. I see the comments starting to click through. Please comment. You can ask your questions. Julaine and I can see them. I'm with Julaine Appling, the longtime president and leader of Wisconsin Family Action that was targeted by, listen, I'm not going to use the word, but I'm going to say it this way, Julaine. The Ukrainian citizens are successfully pushing back the Russians in a state of warfare using Molotov cocktails. So to use a Molotov cocktail in America on an advocacy organization merely for advocating for the rights of the unborn is used. It's essentially war. It's meant to bring about terror. The president's talked a lot about domestic terrorism, but whatever you want to call the folks that did this, at a minimum, it was a criminal activity meant to terrorize. And it's horrifying. And we have the privilege of talking with Julaine Appling. She's recounting that for us, and she's talking about this. And for our audience, I want to put this into perspective, Julaine, because you're one of the longest serving, most recognized leaders in the pro-life movement. I think that might have factored into their decision. You've been doing this for 25 years as the leader of Wisconsin Family Action, half the time that our country has had this gross injustice of legalized abortion. Put into perspective for our audience right now, the events of this past week, for a person who's worked in this for her state for 25 years, from the leak through Sunday. Share for people, it's got to be one of the most incredible things you've seen, right?
Well, it is one of the most incredible. It starts, a week ago tonight at 8:30, I get this, breaking news, and I see the Family Policy Alliance and Family Policy Council thread, our text message thread, just exploding with the news that this opinion had been leaked. And I remember sitting there thinking, Craig, oh my word, are you kidding me? I'm really getting to see even this draft opinion with all this hopeful language. I honestly, I've prayed, I've worked, I've hoped, I've dreamt, I've talked about this day ever coming. And I thought, it looks like it's going to happen. So, we issued a very tempered, very reasonable and responsible, I think, statement in response to that early in the morning on Tuesday, because we don't have the final answer, right? But I've told people in events where we were last week, we need to be so optimistic and so enthusiastic about this. I'm just still floored that we're even talking about the very real possibility that this dastardly court decision very likely will be overturned. And that is, you talk about a provocation. That's the provocation. That is the desperation of the left right now as they see this flimsy, poorly decided case back from 1973, followed by Casey, and I think it was 1992, seeing these things overturned. And so then, I'm going merrily on my way. I'm getting ready to celebrate Mother's Day along with everybody else across this country and maybe around the world if they honor that day. And I'm doing what I do every Sunday. I'm getting ready for church, going to church, and I get this call that my office has been attacked. And you're right, Craig. You don't use Molotov cocktails unless you plan on doing damage. Now, they did it under the cloak of darkness. It was about 6 o'clock in the morning. We weren't here. No one was hurt. And the damage was contained, partly because somebody driving by saw it at 6 o'clock. And we're very close to the Madison airport. They saw the smoke coming, and some people said they saw flames actually out that and resulted in a report to the local fire department. And so the fire was put out, and now we're dealing with the residual of that. And I still, as I got that news, I say it this way: I was both shocked and surprised, but not surprised. Let me say it that way. I was shocked, but not surprised. Shocked because we were the ones that became the target, but I was not surprised that something had happened, because the Roe v. Wade leaked opinion from the Dobbs case was the setup for it. The people who are desperate to keep the legalization of the killing of unborn children will stop at nothing. If they're willing to kill a child before that child is born, they are willing to do what they did to our office on Sunday morning. That we shouldn't miss a link there.
You, that's a very poignant comment. If that's your worldview, is that you can kill an unborn human being, and advocate for that, then there probably aren't a lot of guardrails there. It's unfortunate though, that you've endured this. I'm with Julena Appling, the president of Wisconsin Family Action. Thank you for tuning in. We encourage you to share this with your friends right now, because we know this is a lot of discussion going on around the country right now. Julene is going to be on the Tucker Carlson show on the Fox News channel tonight. She's going to talk more about this beyond what she's able to share with us here today. She's holding some stuff back. So we encourage all of our listeners of this to share this video. It will be replayed to your friends and family on your Facebook and your YouTube streams, and to tune in to Tucker Carlson tonight. What's going on in America? I think it took people a couple days, because you're right. This was a big ruling that we read a week ago. But people are realizing that the fight is leaving the federal Supreme Court and going back to where I think many people would agree. I don't necessarily. I believe life is life, but they're returning this to the states. And that is what Wisconsin Family Action has been preparing for 36 years. And so please tell our audience how we can help you, right? People need to rally. This damage, you could say things like, well, it's covered by insurance. It's not. This creates much bigger problems. Wisconsin Family Action needs our help today. We need to respond, and we need to support. We're going to have links here posted while we're talking, but also after, for you to go on and support this group. But tell us how we can be helping. And then my next question is, what are you going to do about it? Should the draft be the verdict, so to speak? What's the goal for Wisconsin?
Well, first of all, thank you, Craig, for that opportunity. First of all, we certainly need prayer support, and secondly, people want to know more about what we are, who we are, and what we're doing, and where we are in this process. Certainly they can jump on our website at wifamilyaction.org, or check us out on social media. Email us, give us a phone call. We are happy to share who we are and what we're doing. We do have a lot of damage. I haven't even been able to get to the office today until just in time to do a radio interview that I had to do from the office. And I've had no time to address what's going on in my office. I think we're going to have to get professional cleaners in there. We've got to deal with the insurance people. We've got to deal with the building people. There's so many questions about what's going to happen in the wake of this. And, we're still dealing with law enforcement. They, at 2:00 this afternoon, they held a press conference. I have no idea what they said, because I was involved in some other media work. But we know that this is an ongoing investigation. Look, we had the FBI here. We had representatives from the ATF here yesterday. We had local law enforcement. We had the police, or excuse me, the fire department here as well. They're treating this seriously. I've been seeing people walk around the building since I got here around 2:00. And I'm sure they're here doing what they have to do to keep working on this investigation. We have a lot of unanswered questions. I don't even know how to calculate what the damage is and how insurance is going to play into this. Insurance is, that's a whole nother ball of wax for us. We've never even had a claim on our insurance liability policy, Craig. This is going to test the waters for sure. So
Absolutely.
Thank you to everyone who in any way helps us and supports us by words of encouragement, or whatever it is that you do. We're just here to do what we have to do on behalf of everyone that we get the opportunity to speak for.
So do you have a couple of minutes to answer one more question? I know we're running a little long here.
I got just a couple minutes, and I got to jump on another interview. Sorry about that.
This will be the last question. You run a state organization. That's where the issue of protecting life is returning to. You have 40 peers out there. Tell our audience the importance of your organization and your peers right now, and why you're being targeted, and why you need help, because our audience needs to understand what you're doing.
Yeah. Thank you, Craig. When Roe versus Wade is overturned, the issue doesn't immediately make abortion illegal across the country. It returns to the states. I don't think our work has ever been more important. This issue that we all thought for 50, it's been this way for 50 years. We didn't know if this day would ever be here, when it would come back to the states, which puts it at the level that is closest to the people. This is not an issue that should be decided by the U.S. Supreme Court or even our state Supreme Court. This should be decided by the people who live in the individual states. That's what the Family Policy Council movement is all about. We are on the ground 24/7. We're not flyover. We don't just come in during elections or come in during emergencies or come in during issues that get high profiles. We are here day after day, year after year, standing up for what's right, educating people, speaking truth to powers, giving people the tools they need to go out and make a difference at their local level. By the way, I think the issue of life, just like every other issue, is won or lost at the local level. We are empowering people to take their message across the back fence. We're empowering them to talk to people over a cup of coffee, or to turn to the person in the pew next to them on a Sunday morning service and say, aren't you supporting life? Aren't you excited about the possibility of us returning to the issue of life to the states where we can handle it? That's the kind of education the Family Policy Councils perform. But let me say this, Family Policy Alliance has pulled us all together and provided a coalition for us, so that, because we're all working on the same issues, right? Just in a different geography. And you folks there at Family Policy Alliance have done a great job of empowering us and helping us have information and tools that we can use to make our impact better and stronger than ever, Craig. So thank you very much for that.
Thank you so much, Elaine. It's been a privilege to have you on the show, and we will talk to you real soon on this. You have our prayers and our thoughts. Everybody, tune in to Tucker Carlson tonight. Learn more from Jelaine Appling. Go online, donate, support the Wisconsin Family Action today. They need our help. They need the body of Christ rallying behind them. If you want to get involved in your state, we have a link up here for the other peer organizations. They're getting not as bad of agitation this week, but plenty of intimidation in their states, and they need your support. Thanks again, Jelaine. God bless you, and we'll talk to you real soon.
Thank you, Craig.